How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory. This time I got it right. Anybody who was watching the Factorio episode from earlier in the week will know that I messed up that intro with Satisfactory instead of Factorio, but that's because I'm recording this pretty much right after the Factorio episode. So, we made some major improvements to our oil rig. Primarily, we're working on the fuel part, or the section up top. So currently, if we head up there, it kind of looks like this. So I know we did touch on the poles over there in the legs, and we also touched on kind of our scaffolding that is around the sides, but now we have this thing up here. So if we go over here, so what we're doing is we're taking the heavy oil out, we're storing it in this drum here. And then it's also concurrently being stored in those drums. We will likely have to store, whatchamacallit, or use a pump to probably push it up and in. And then we're going to refine it into fuel on this layer. And I haven't really decided what we're going to do with the fuel from there. I haven't decided, are we going to take the fuel and just burn it here, or if we are going to build a separate platform, either over in that region, over there, because it's pretty open as well, or perhaps build it somewhere closer to home. I think we might build another platform over there where we're going to burn it, and what we'll do is we'll pump the fuel over at a higher height, so like say above, and then have it naturally flow down like a tiered system. Because one thing I've seen on the subreddit and a couple other people's just comments about how the fluids work is, instead of trying to pump it into the lowest floor and push it up, it's better to pump it at the top and then let it naturally flow down. So then that way you don't have to worry about like a manifold system or anything trying to equally pull from it, because then it causes weird things with how the pumps work and how the fluid dynamics all function. One thing I am also doing is, so I'm using these fences, I might swap out the rails at the lower floor for these as well, because I just kind of like the kind of more safe option that these provide. It's like, okay, you're higher up, you don't really want to accidentally fall or anything. And so you kind of have that as an option. I haven't decided how we're going to do that one just yet. I wish there were elevators in this, or some sort of like lift system. I don't know if that is in this, but I'm sure if there isn't, there's probably a mod for it. So we'll have to look into those at some point. But for now, we're going to finish off this a little bit, and then we're going to kind of go over what we have planned for up here. So I know we're producing, I think it's an equal amount of heavy oil. So currently my plan is to just ratio out how much heavy oil we're producing and turning it all into fuel. So this machine produces 10 per minute. I believe this machine also is going to produce 10 per minute, right? No, it's 20 per minute. Okay. So then based on that, oh, let me turn my alarm off really quick. I have an alarm for ribs that I'm making today, which I'm very happy about, because I've been wanting to make ribs for a while. So we're producing 360 heavy fuel, or not heavy fuel, heavy oil per minute, and we're consuming it. I guess we need to put a ladder somewhere on this side as well, because I think our only ladder is over here. I want to add, I think we're going to add like a halfway point floor or something. So I do want to make it seem a little bit more compressed. So that way it does feel a little bit more like an oil rig and a little bit less open. So I do want to kind of compress as much of that as possible, but I do like these glass floors to be able to see down into the lower floor. I do like that appeal. But anyway, so this consumes 60 per minute, so divided by... Oh, we just need 6. Okay. So then we already have 3, so that's 4, 5, and 6. So this is going to produce 40 per minute. And then from here, what we can do is burn that in one of these, a fuel power generator, which I don't know how much it consumes. It is quite large. And we're just going to place one down just for now so we can kind of look at it. It looks actually really cool. So it looks like you have, what, 1, 2, like, engine... No, you have 4 engines, basically. And I'm guessing some sort of oxidizer or pressurization. So it probably goes in, and each one of these feeds, you know, its respective generator. And this would be where the exhaust is. I'm just kind of wrapping my head around how the science of it works. Alright, so basically, power information. That's funny. Little sticker down there. So it generates 250. No connection. Obviously, we can have clock speeds. Oh, actually, I didn't realize we could have clock speeds on this. Come to think of it, because I don't think we can have these on the other one. But I would assume it eats more fuel, though. Interesting. Well, I guess the clock speed you can use to throttle. This, I suppose, would be your throttle for fuel. So if you only want to generate 50 megawatts, it consumes only 20% of the fuel load versus at 100% for 250. So it's not terrible. It's nice that you can do that, and you're not really losing anything by throttling it down to 1%. Right, that'd be the bare minimum it would generate, but then you would only, in theory, burn 1% of the fuel demand. At least I'm assuming that's how it would work, and then you could throttle it up to 250%, but then you're consuming 250% fuel. So then, would this be one of the few cases where it's linearly scaled? Or no? Let me know down below. Alright, so I like this. We'll probably, I mean, our power demands aren't terrible right now, but we are going to need it if we plan on going bigger. And we do plan on going bigger. So we are going to have to start, probably in between episodes, what I'm going to do, hopefully this week, because this week that these are coming out is Thanksgiving week. So this is coming out Wednesday. So probably Wednesday this week, when this comes out, I'm going to work on building out our platform over there. Something similar to this, but I'm not going to be building it up above. I'm going to probably only build it like 1 or 2 foundations above. So that way from the sea or from the ocean up, we can have probably 4 or 5 tiers of the generators. We'll see. And then likely we will need a refinery. So this primarily is handling the plastic and rubber, and we just happen to be transforming the heavy fuel here. However, at some point we are going to want dedicated fuel production. Whether or not that's also on this rig, I don't know yet. We might make it somewhere else and then generate, or what we can do, because it does look like we can probably get a pretty good rectangle here, we might do like half fuel, half generators. So we might create the fuel, like, I don't know, over there, and then put it over there. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But for now, let's kind of get this hooked up. So also what I want to do is I want to get some of these buffers placed down. So let's remove this guy. I'll just do something like that. And then that way we go logistics. Keep going until it can't go any further. We'll do something like that. Alright, so then we need one of these at each and every input. We might have to slide these around just a little bit, because I know sometimes the pipes can get finicky depending on how close they are to the machine that you're putting them into. Put a it looks like we should be good. Oh, I spoke too soon. I will say though, I like that it kind of checks beforehand with that little green arrow to indicate if it is going to work or not. So these will all go into here. So our fuel will go here. And then for power, for now, we're just going to have one of these here. Just so that way we can kind of test it out, but also burn the fuel. Now, it is important to note that it is a constant rate of fuel burning. So by having these, we are going to want... I'm going to have to look in to see what the most optimal like setup for this is. Is there like a circuit thing I need to do so that it only uses the like correct amount of fuel? Or is there a more more sophisticated way, right, using the circuits in terms of I think it's circuit breakers and things? Or is it more of a just make sure that you don't have more than you actually need? Okay. And this guy needs to just connect to any old power pole. So I connect to that one. Okay. And then we need... definitely need pumps. So let's go logistics pump. This is filling up. But it's likely because the pipe isn't full, huh? So this won't pump it until... no, it is pumping. So that means there should be some in this one, right? Is there any in the top one yet? No. So the pipe is full. The pump is pumping at 70 per minute. But is it just falling back into it, though? Let's see. It's filling. Okay, we see that there is some showing up here, but now is it being transferred out immediately? None. Okay. Not that one. Okay. Let's see, can we get... none, there's none there. Okay, well this is very peculiar. So there's none, well, I don't know. Because it registers that it should have liquid, but it shows that it doesn't have any liquid. And by that I mean, like here, okay, this one's now registering it's getting fueled. So I would assume that... I will say, I like that you can see a fill rate, a drain rate, and then a net rate. So that way you can kind of see how much you're consuming relative to how much you're putting in. Are you gaining? Are you losing? I mean, we're definitely going to be gaining. We're not consuming any. The only problem with this design, though, is this buffer has to fill before we can really utilize it on the next floor, huh? Okay, I suppose in a case like this, it might almost make more sense for us to pump this up into this one here. And then... No, because we'd still have to deal with that, though. We're pumping it higher. If anybody has a solution for this, or how we can store it vertically like this, because I don't think it just automatically goes from this one to that one to that one. Because I'm pretty sure there's not a, doesn't, like, automatically do it, right? Auto-magically? Yeah, there's not, like, an interface here, where it's just gonna connect. Yeah, and, you know, we can see that it doesn't connect either. It's not like it just joins their inventories together, which would be really cool if it did. Even though it fits, like, you can see that the models fit. Yeah. So if you look between the orbs, there's no real connection for them. So it's not like this is pushing into this one, and sharing, making this 3 times as much. Alright. So then what we are going to do is we are just going to do kind of what we already were doing. The main difference is hopefully we don't fall off. Yeah. Okay, so now we have the pump there. We're going to have to add actual pumps instead of just the pipe. We'll get that up to the next floor. We'll get it turning into fuel oil, and then hopefully we can get that generator turned on. And everything should be powered up here. So we could also check the power. It seems to be a running theme in Factorio and Satisfactory is the constant need to be working on getting your power operational. Yeah, so here we can see that we have a max consumption if everything's under load at 5,700 megawatts, but currently we can only generate 2,400, so we basically need to double it. And then still we wouldn't have enough. So this is going to be a bit of a problem. And then we're gonna go like so. And then like so. I definitely think one thing that is often overlooked in games like this is making sure that you have enough power before you go and expand your factory, because we did that before, where we expanded, we didn't have enough power, and of course, if we expand, we took down our old system, and it caused us to have brownouts, and that was particularly true when we were doing some Factorio things. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a pump. Yeah. So currently this has none. Ow. See, because this one has a ton. We see that it's draining out now. Because these are all going to be empty, because plastic's on the end. So here, let's let's do a thing then. That's gonna kind of help us. There we go. So this thing is going to fill up pretty quickly with the plastic sheets. Which means this should start generating ever more heavy oil for us. The system only does work, though, when we are consuming the plastic and the rubber. Currently, we are not consuming them, so we will eventually back up on those, meaning that fuel is not an indefinite source. Because ideally, we do fuel this way, but then we end up with polymer resin, which the polymer resin we can use to convert with a little bit of water into plastic, into rubber. So, we do... sorry for the yawning. We are going to have to look into that to see which is more effective. Is it more effective to just turn everything into fuel first and then have plastic and rubber be the byproduct, or have fuel be the byproduct when making plastic or rubber? I'm sure there's probably going to be like an optimal like 50-50 or something where it's like, oh, if you need more, do it like this, or have like a switch to alternate or something. So we'll see. Yeah, well, I think that's what we're going to call it for today while I wait for these to more or less fill up. And just see if this is going to work. If you guys have any tips, tricks, comments, questions, concerns, and anything else under the sun, leave that down below. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. And peace out.